Governor Soludo calls P2B insane, lunatic, and a man of deception. What really happened? Yes, you heard it right. The ground is shaking, the walls are cracking, and the political sky over Anambra is roaring loud. This is not just gossip, this is a real life war of words between two respected giants of the land. On one side, we have Governor Chukwuemeka Charles Soludo, a world-class professor, a brilliant economist, a man of bold speeches and fearless moves. And on the other side, we have Mr. P2B, a former governor, a man many Nigerians call Okute the Rock, the voice of the poor, the face of the labor movement, and the one some believe should be Nigeria's next president. But now, these two are no longer walking on the same road. Instead of friendship, we now see fire. And the fire has produced a shocking outburst. Governor Soludo didn't just criticize P2B, he destroyed him with words. He called him insane. He called him a lunatic. He described him as a man of lies and deception and warned Indian Anambra and Igbos everywhere to run from him. Wait, oh, how did we get here? We aren't there once on the same side. What happened behind closed doors? What did P2B say that made Soludo open his mouth like this is public? Is this just political jealousy or is here a deeper truth? My people, this is not a video to watch halfway. This is the kind of matter you sit down with your chin in your hand and your mind open. In politics, they say there is no permanent friend and no permanent enemy, only permanent interest. But this one past power, it is shocking, it is emotional, it is explosive. Now, let us first watch and listen with our ears wide open. Listen to P2B's words that brought out this anger. Then hear Soludo's thunderous reply. After the video, don't go away because we will break everything down. The meaning behind the words, what Soludo really meant, what P2B truly said, the hidden anger between them, and what this means for the future of Igbo politics. So stay with us. Don't stop watching. And please tell us what you think in the comments. Do you agree with Soludo or do you stand with P2B? Let's go deep into this hot matter. Watch to the end because this one, hey, na real war of words. You're welcome to Ecomania Gist TV where we give you the truth as it hot. Please, let's watch the video right away.
But I'm saying that any politician that comes to you and says, I'm going to do only one term, that's a sign of desperation. It will not work. Just like all these gambits about serving food, carrying plates, and doing boy at parties that could be better organized by event organizers, it's also a sign of desperation. It doesn't work. It will never work.
Can Nigerians trust that commitment of a single term from you? So I said it and I put it in capital. I don't need a day more than 4 years.
You come to people and say, I will do only one term. Anybody, any politician who said that must be sent to a psychiatric home. The person must have some mental problem.
Now let's look at this question from the presenter. He said, can Nigeria trust Mr. P2B's one-term promise? First, let's talk about leaders who broke similar promises. Before we judge P2B's promise, let's look at some real examples of leaders who also said they would stay for one term only, but later did the opposite. We have Roger Sokorocha, former governor of Imo State. He once said, I need one term to fix Imo State. What happened? He stayed 8 good years, that is 2 terms. He even tried to bring in his son-in-law to take over. Many people felt disappointed and called it a family government. Number 2, we have the former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan. You know, at some point, he hinted he might serve only one full tenure. But in 2015, he ran again, even after public concern. That decision made some people question his honesty. Look at the president of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni. Long ago, he said no African leader should stay long in power. But what happened? He's still in power after more than 35 years. He even changed the constitution to remove term limits. We have President of Cameroon, Paul Biya. He has been present since 1982. He promised reform but chose to stay and stay. Many young people in this country now feel power doesn't change hands. Now, over to you, the fans and listeners. What do you think about these leaders where their promises just sweet words to win elections? Drop your thoughts in the comment box as we continue. Now to Mr. Peter Big's strong statement. I said it, and I said it with capital letter. I don't need a day more than 4 years, Peter B said. Let's also break this down. What does it mean? Peter B is trying to say, number one, I've said it before and I mean it fully. He said with capital letters means he's saying it boldly and clearly. He's promising that if he becomes president, he will leave after 4 years. That is one tenor. He also said he is not interested in staying in power for long. That means he wants Nigeria to trust his ways and see him as different from other politicians. Now, what does Peter Obi really want to achieve? Let's look at what he intends to achieve within this one tenor. He wants to win the trust of Nigerians by that statement. He wants to fix as much as possible within 4 years. Economy, education, security, and health. He wants to show that leadership is not forever, just service. He wants to create space for power to rotate peacefully and fairly. And he wants to set a new standard in African politics where a leader keeps his words. But wait, my friend, are there limits? Yes. Even if Peter Obi is honest, there are real challenges ahead. Nigeria government is slow, so big changes take time. Old politicians may fight against him if he tries to stop corruption, and it delays time. People may pressure him to stay, especially if he's doing well. The whole Nigerian will say continue. Now, fixing the problems in just 4 years is another issue. Is it possible? He must be very strong enough to stand by his words, no matter what. Now, dear listener fans, now it's your turn. Imagine you are on a live radio show or sitting in a community hall. The mic is open. Do you believe Peter is truly different from those who broke their promises? Do you think Nigeria needs only 4 years of serious leadership to begin a turnaround? And what will you do as a citizen to hold him accountable? Drop your comment below. Let your voice be heard. The future belongs to you. Now the final was, Peter Obi promise is bold. But bold words need bold actions. He says he would only stay for 1 term, not a day more. If he keeps his promise, he will make history. If not, he will become just another name on the list of a broken promise. That is just the truth. Now let's look at what the governor of Anambra State, what he said, and we're going to continue from what Peter B said, where he said, I don't need a day more than 4 years. And look at what Professor Charles Soludo responded. He said, you come to people and say, I will do only 1 term. Anybody, any politician who says that should be sent to a psychiatric home. The person must have some mental problems. Now, let's look at what Professor Soludo means by that. He said, although jokingly, Soludo is saying something very deep and political. Let's now break this down from every angle. Politics, African leadership, culture, Soludo's own position, and public perception. Let's analyze the Soludo's comment line by line. You come to people and say, I will do only 1 term. Watch, he is surprised or disbelieving that anyone would voluntarily limit their time in power. In African politics, it's very rare for leaders to willingly step down when they still have the chance to hold on. You know that. And any politician who says that should be sent to a psychiatric home. Soludo is mocking the idea, saying this idea is very crazy and unrealistic in his view. It shows how unusual and perhaps foolish in political strategy it is to give up power willingly in Africa. Even though he said it jokingly, it revealed a serious truth. African politicians value power and do not let it go easily. Now, let's look at this from political angle. Soludo as a politician. Soludo himself is a governor and a strategic political player. He understands what staying in power gives: control, influence, and ability to push long-term projects. From his view, promising only 4 years sound like wasting political capital. Now, let's look at the power and the leverage. You know that politicians use the second term as leverage. Build strong coalition, reward royal supporters, and finish big, slow-moving projects. So to Soludo, giving that up from day one is political suicide. Now let's look at this from the African leadership angle. In African politics, leaders rarely step down early unless forced. Many even try to change constitutions to stay longer. Example, we have Museveni, Biya, Mugabe, and others who stayed 30 years and above. Or we also have some who maintain their words. So when Obi says 4 years only, and Soludo reacts the way he does, it reflects a clash between old African political culture and a new style of leadership. Psychologically and strategic angle, let's look at it from this angle. Soludo's view, he believes P2B is setting unrealistic expectations. Do you believe that? He may think, why limit yourself when you can get 8 years to do real work? The joke about a psychiatric home is meant to lighten the criticism, but the message is very serious. Only a crazy person gives up power without a fight. Now, let's look at Soludo versus Obi personal and political relationship. Something is happening. Both are from Anambra State. Both are former technocrats who moved into politics. Soludo may feel Obi's one-time promise is a PR stunt for a serious commitment. There's also some political rivalry. Soludo may want to position himself for higher office in the future. And if by this, then P2B becomes a threat to him. So his statement could also be a way to downplay Obi's popularity and present himself as the realist. Don't be surprised that Soludo may be coming out for the presidency sooner than you think. Now, let's look at the risk of Obi's one-time promise. As he was saying from Soludo's perspective, from Soludo's side, P2B is making a dangerous promise that might backfire, limiting himself before the race even starts. P2B may even be giving himself too little time to make deep reforms, and he may be losing future negotiation power with coalition and regions. But could Obi be right? When we think left, we also think right. Yes, Obi is challenging the mindset that power must be held as long as possible. He is saying leadership is service, not ownership. I will lead, then leave. This challenges the typical African political model, and that's why Soludo finds it strange. Engaging the fans. Now over to you. Let's open the conversation. What do you think? Is P2B's one-time promise brave or naive? Is Soludo just telling the hard truth, or is he part of the old system? Should we support leaders who limit their time in office, or does staying longer help them do more? Please drop your thought in the comment. Tell us 4 years is enough or 8 years is better. Let's look at what P2B said. I don't need a day more than 4 years. Soludo's respond, that person needs to be checked mentally. These two views represent old versus new political thinking, power versus purpose, realism versus idealism. In the end, it is not about who's louder, it's about who delivers.